Alright, so today we're starting up a brand new project, and it's going to be the Super Nintendo console, which I'll be modeling. And this is going to be the first project, and I promise you guys, the first project where I will literally create a video from beginning to end. This is going to be the very first one. I've always promised this, and always seem to get some, what's that called? Self-conscious about which parts gets boring, and then I stop recording it, etc., etc. So this time I'm going to do my best to not double too much and just do it. So hopefully you enjoy this. I'll be doing the modeling, UVing, texturing, the whole shebang, and because this is a smaller asset, I should be able to do it relatively in time. So I'm planning right now to try and do 2 assets from beginning to end to have on my YouTube. So hopefully you enjoyed that. So let's get right into the first thing that I always do is I make sure that all my preferences and stuff like that are all good. So sorry, my eyes are all twitchy, pretty tired from this week. So centimeters is fine. That's good, it's good, it's good. And then I like to make sure my grid is okay. So so there's a grid line of 100. So each red one, 1, 2, 3, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's essentially 4 meters, right? And then for each 100 units, so each 100 centimeters, there's a line which is 1 meter. And then I put subdivisions as 2 so that I know that the gray light line here, that is 50 centimeters. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And obviously if I want to have like every quarter, like every 25, 50, 75, then I change that subdivision up. So I'm just going to change it back to 2 because that's what I like it as. There we go. Okay, so now let's go to new project. So it's set project actually. So we're going to set the project. We're going to, so I'm going to remove some of these shortcuts to my old projects. And we're going to go for the next one. So this is the SNES. So I'm just going to put this into my bookmarks. Right, this is a really good shortcut here. And then I'm going to set the project as the SNES. It says that this location, blah, blah, does not have contain a project definition file. Please select one of the following options. Say create default workspace. Okay, so there we go. So now we have that. And then I'd like to right away save. I like to create a new folder here. I'm just going to call scenes. And then I like to let's call this the NES. Let's just go V1 for now in case something weird ever happens. I have version 1. And then I like using Maya ASCII, and I'm just going to save as. All right, so we got a project set. Everything's good to go. So now we have workspace.mel. Okay, so that's all set up. Now we need to put in some reference. Okay, so you're going to see I have a ref folder here. This is all the ref that I have right now. Obviously, this isn't enough. I'm going to have to go back in and get more of them. But for now, we're going to say that that's okay. I'll go and I'll grab more as we continue to make more or make progress on this asset. The top view is probably the most important one, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to put this. This is a really low res image. So let me just quickly see if there's sorry, oh, working on my laptop today. So let's go. Nope, I don't want classic. I just want SNE and SNES. Let's go top view. And let's go with some settings here. Or no, let's go tools, size. Let's go large. Let's see if someone has a top view. Something like this would be nice, right? But of the old one, the one that I had. Now this is a really good reference for a really old aged one, so I might grab that in a sec. Right, because these are like still pristine. The one that I want to create, I wanted to make it a little bit dirtier. So it's good to have that type of reference here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I mean, if worst comes to last and I have to use a low-res image, that's fine too. It might be kind of a good idea to show you how I would... Like, this is not bad. Yeah, this is not bad. This is better than the little small. It's not completely, like, completely top down, because you can tell, right? But whatever, it's okay. We can make adjustments in Photoshop as well if we need to. But for now, we'll call this reference here. We'll call this top down number 2, maybe. Now, if I wanted to get picky, okay, if I wanted to get picky and I did want this to be more perfect, maybe we do go through that step too. Maybe let's go. Where's my Photoshop? There you go. Okay, computer's lagging. I think I might have opened up like 3 Photoshops. I'm hoping that, I mean, I don't know, this is a gaming laptop. I mean, I feel like the problem with this laptop is it has so much junk everywhere. Like there's all this like MSI stuff that was installed with it. And it definitely slows it down, I feel. But maybe it's just me making up excuses. Because I would think that a laptop like this wouldn't have issues recording and stuff like that. Like I don't even know if it's doing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So if I want this to be completely straight, I'm just gonna go Control R, or where's ruler? Control R. View rulers, Control R, and then we can probably, I mean, it doesn't need to be pixels or centimeters or anything like that. Let's just go for pixels. What you can do is, like, to make sure that this all lines up nicely, right, we can manipulate this a little bit so that it becomes a little bit more useful when it comes so it becomes a little bit more useful as a reference image. So I'm just going to duplicate the original, and I'm actually going to, let's call this OG for original, and then we're gonna manipulate this a little bit. So obviously this needs to be rotated just a little tad bit here, and then we need to kind of, so I'm pressing Control T for free transform, or you can go to image, where is that, free transform. So yeah, like I know all these hotkeys now that I don't even know, that I'm super slow when it comes to like trying to find Control T, free transform. That it takes me a while to actually see where it is in the menus. So so I'm gonna go to like warp, maybe not warp, sorry, perspective, and kind of get rid of the perspective here. Right, so just kind of change the perspective a little bit. Okay, so you can't do one and not mess up the other, right? It seems. So you have to kind of be careful here. So let's go, let's meet in the middle for now, and then here we want to skew. Move that a bit. All right, so we're just doing little micro edits here in Photoshop, just to kind of help us get better reference. So we're almost there, almost there. Just trying to line this up as best as I can, obviously, right? Like this isn't going to be perfect by any means, but it's going to be a little bit better than what we had before. something like that. Right, so something like that might be better as reference. Right, and obviously this isn't perfect, and a lot of this we can mirror, right? We can mirror a lot of this stuff. So, okay, cool. So let's save this out now. Okay, so I'm going to save as. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a black Shift F5 for fill, as that's the shortcut, or you can find it in image or edit, sorry, and then fill. I just go Shift F5, and I'm just going to go with a black color here as the background, and then there you go. Okay. And now this is, so I can say this as a PDF edit like that, and then I'm going to save it as a JPEG so that's easier for Maya to load it up. There you go. Okay, so now we have a better reference image. Okay, let me just quickly see if there's nothing in chat. Okay, cool. So now let's get back to here. So if we go to let's go to the top view, right? And then we go to view, image plane, import image, go to reference, and we go to top view here, top edit, sorry. There we go. There. Now this might be tiny. Looking at this, it's like super small. Now how big is the original SNES? I mean, like, it doesn't matter if it's like to scale, but you definitely don't want it to be too big. So that might not be too bad. Now, the way I'm looking at it is this. So this is 50 centimeters. I remember the SNES was probably about 30 centimeters or so. So let's go something like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be to scale, but it's just nice. And then I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to call this ref. And I'm going to add it. So I have it selected. Right click on the layer, add selected object. Now I can just click on this button here to make it R. So now I don't accidentally touch it. Okay, very important. So now let's get to this. I'm going to remove the grid here, and let's start creating this general shape. Okay, so it's also important to look around everywhere, right? So we have the front here. So this is how the front looks like. You want to make sure that you have the back, right? So there's a bunch of little things here that we're going to have to kind of add in. I'll be faking a lot of this stuff, okay? I'm going to be upfront with you guys. Like, I'm not actually going to put holes in here. We're going to just fake a bunch of this stuff. So just an FYI, okay? So let's just start with a simple shape. So this is obviously a cube, right? So we're going to start off with a cube here, and again, because this is not like a blueprint, I'm actually interested. Maybe there is a blueprint of this online somewhere. I'd be kind of shocked if there isn't. Sorry. Well, let's just quickly look. Let's quickly look. Let's go to Chrome. Let's go SNES blueprint. Yes, kind of. I guess this would be a blueprint of it. This is just like a 3D model of it, it looks like, which is kind of cool. But that might be kind of handy. But no, let's pretend you don't have a blueprint and all you have is reference images, okay? So let's quickly go back to X-ray mode. So I'm just gonna click X-ray mode here so you can kind of see and align things properly. I'm just going to go to vertices. I'm going to slide this down here, just kind of massaging things a little bit. Just massaging. Okay. And then we're going to start adding some lines here. So we're just going to multi-cut. Right. So multi-cut, you can go here. I'm holding down Control to make sure that, oh, what's going on here? I'm holding down Control. What happens when you hold down Control and you hover over an edge, it's going to actually create a complete edge loop for you. Okay, so I'll show you that to you right here. See? So it's created a complete edge loop. Now, what's going to be important is also having a good front view reference image. So let's go to front here, because this is obviously like huge, and currently it's huge and it shouldn't be. So let's go to reference, and so this is the front view, because right now we're kind of eyeballing it. Okay, there's got to be a better front view. See, again, this is where having good references is so important. So let's just go back to Chrome again, and let's just find a good front view. See, so this is really good. Let's go back to Tools, Size, Large. Like, this is excellent. But I think this is the classic. Again, we don't want the classic. We want the regular, you know what I mean? We want the regular. Let's see if we can find a regular one. Again, it might be difficult, right? Like, you're not always going to find exact references that you need. And that's kind of part of the challenge, right? So a lot of hype right now because of the SNES Classic. I'm seeing a lot of SNES Classic. That's a good top one right there. I think that's an SNES Classic though. Okay, so it doesn't look like I'm gonna have much luck here trying to find a top. So I'm gonna have to kind of eyeball this as much as I can, as best as I can. So for now, I mean, reference image might just be better having something rather than nothing. So what we can do is we can kind of, because the back and the front, I mean, the back and the front are slightly different, I think, like in height. No, not really. Okay, so I could use the back. The back might be better. Wait, where's that back view? And again, having your references labeled properly comes in handy as well. Okay, so let me just go here. So that's it right there. So let's go and let's scale this up so that it kind of matches what we have currently. All right, so there. And then what we'll do is we'll take this cube and we're going to bring it down just a tad bit. And again, this is just rough. We're just doing the quick rough block in. And again, this is like the boring parts, and I get that this is the boring parts of 3D modeling. So I apologize for that, but it's necessary. Okay, now how can I want to select, select image. Let's bring this up to the middle, or let's bring it up right to the floor there. There. Okay, so this is also another image plane. We're going to add this to the image, and voila. Okay, so now we have those two as images. This is our base right here. I'm just going to delete the history, which is Control or Alt D for me. I believe the default hotkey is, I don't know what the default hotkey is anymore because I've changed it. And then I'm going to freeze my transformations, which is Alt Z for me, but you can just go to modify, freeze transformations. Okay, so for me, I just use hotkeys just to be a little bit quicker. These are actions that I use very, very often, so I like to hotkey them. Okay, so first things first is I always like to start off with the big shapes. So the big shape here is definitely the thing inside the middle. So I'm just going to select the face here. Actually, let me just hide this front or this back view. I'm going to go to object mode. Going to Control H to hide. So if you go to your outliner, you'll see that I have these two image planes here. I'm just going to rename these properly. I'm just going to call this top ref. I'm going to call this back ref. Right, so these are image planes. So now this is hidden, this is not hidden. I'm going to go back to my layers. Oh my god, Maya's freaking out. Okay, Maya, don't freak out on me, please. Go back to putting it back to reference mode so that it doesn't accidentally get hit. I'm going to go back to modeling mode, select face here, we're going to extrude, and just looking at the reference, right, it's like a small hump, right, it's not too big, so we're just going to do something like that. Alright, so that's how it kind of looks now. So there's a few things we need to tackle, right? There's these little hinge or little switch button things that happens, but let's do these humps here. Okay, so we gotta do those humps. So there's two ways we can do this, okay, with those humps. Those humps, what we can do, the easiest thing to do is to actually just create a new mesh, right? So and then just crash it in. That's one way of doing it. Or we can extrude it, right? So it's really up to you and how you want to do it. So what I mean by that is you can create another cube, right? Let's go to my top view here. It's inside there. What you can do is you can create. It looks like this side is a little bit straighter, so I'm just gonna do it based on this side. So what we can do is we can just go something like that, bring it out like this, select, oh whoop, okay, so that's why it needs to be out like that. Let's scale it up just a tad bit, and then what we can do is we can go to vertices, select the vertices, and just bring it out. No, don't want that. Bring it out. Right? So we can do that. That's one way. Okay. Obviously, we can bring this in. Right, so we can do something like that. I'm gonna put a center line into the main mesh so that we can kind of see where things are going. So to turn on wireframe, it's this button right here, and for me, I just select the edge, control right click, hold edge ring utilities, and I just split. Okay, that's how I did that. Sorry, went pretty fast. I always forget that I need to go slow, especially if I'm teaching this. Let me just check chat here. Nope, nothing in chat. And then this way, because I have this the way that it is, I can it's easy enough for me to go back to my attribute editors, freeze the transformations, D to change the pivot, hold V for snapping to vertices, snap the pivot to the center line. I can now mirror this. So I can go to mirror, and then mirror x minus, right? Because it's going, so this is x plus. You want it to go to the other side. You go to mirror, and it'll mirror to the other side. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. Obviously, this is not. Okay, so I screwed up here. Give me 1 second. Undo, 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 undo. Okay, let's move everything into the center. Okay, so let's move everything into the center. Let's move the reference, move everything, because right now it's not in the center. The reason why I know is if I turn on grid here, see the center here? It's not the center of here. So I'm just going to move everything. So I'm going to select everything in the outliner, and I'm going to Control G. Okay, Control G puts everything to the one group, and then I'm going to make the center pivot. So D is to change pivot. V for Vancouver. For vertices, it's going to snap now to the vertices of here, and then now we're going to center it right into. So what I do is I press X for turning on grid snapping, and then I just held this axis. So hold X, drag the arrow, and it'll snap to the grid. Okay, so that's grid snapping. Okay, whew. Sorry, that was some heavy stuff. That was heavy. And the reason why I made a group is so that everything moves together. Okay, so now what I can do is I can move everything out of this group because I don't need it to be in the same group. I'm just going to delete it. Okay. Cool. So to keep things a little bit organized, I'm just going to put this reference image planes, okay, inside its own group here, and then I'll leave these for now. Okay, there we go. So now turn everything back to reference so I don't accidentally touch it. And now if I hold on, I want to hide this image plane. Don't need it right now. There we go. So now if I mirror this, mirror, so how I'm mirroring this, I mean, there's different ways to mirror things, right? For me, I like to go shift, right click, hold, and then you'll see mirror, and then like going options, and then just X world, done. Okay, so now if you can see, it's in the same spot. All right, so there we have it. Obviously this is not correct. If you look at the reference, it's got like divots and all this and that, and it's also smaller in shape here. So we'll get to that in a sec. So so where the reference comes in handy now with the back piece is, now let me look at all my reference because I want to make sure that this lip here is okay. So it does go all the way around. Okay, so it does go all the way around, so that's good. It's good to know. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to Alt F for me is isolate select, so you can I think the default's Control 1. So I'm just going to go like this, and we're gonna move this up a bit. Okay, we're gonna turn on, where's the reference? There we go. So we're just gonna move this up just a tad bit here. And then what we're gonna do, holy cow, this is quite a big lip. I'm gonna bring this lip down just a little bit. Okay, so now we have this. We're gonna go back. We're also gonna create another cube. Okay, and this cube is going to be the bottom part of this part. And it's going to go all the way around. And the reason why I'm doing this separately, and I'll explain in a sec, is because of the weird shape that it has. It's just going to be a lot easier to manipulate and make that wavy look if it's separate, so that I don't have all this crazy geo going around. So just give me 1 second here while I do this. So I'm just gonna kind of just put this into the right place. Again, these are too large, so I'm gonna have to fix that. And then I'm just gonna snap this to the grid. So it's gonna be something along the lines of that. And then we're gonna do select the other face. We're gonna move this out as well. And it's not completely out like that. It shouldn't be out like that. It should be more like this. And then let's make sure that we have these faces selected here on the side. And then we're going to bring these out as well. Okay. So something like that. Okay. And then we're also going to I'm just gonna turn the vision off of those there. Now I'm wondering if I go to my modeling, if I go to symmetry, object on, will it, okay, yeah, so that actually works. So that's pretty handy. So there's just a little lip, right? So it's just a little lip here, right? Just little lips. So yeah. So even this one, we can probably bring it down a little bit. So we're gonna bring it up just a little bit. There we go. Cool. So now we kind of have like a general shape here. Let's quickly, oops, sorry. So we got about another 25 more minutes to go here, and then we'll call it. Okay, so let's look at some of the big shapes, right? We want to take a look at the big shapes. We got that shape in, right? We got the two side shapes in, got the bottom part in. This side's gonna be fun. The back side's gonna be pretty fun to do. Controller's gonna be fun to create. Okay. So far, so good. So now we need to create the little switches, the on and off switches. Let's just check chat. Nope, nothing in chat. So let's just do that right now. Okay, so let's do the top part. Going back to channel box layers, turn on the reference. And again, I will rename these in a second. So we're just gonna scale these up. There we go. Obviously it's crashing right now. Something like that. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's take a look. We had that front is really good. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So as you can tell, it hovers. Do you see that? So it actually hovers. So it's actually not on there. So what I need to do is that it needs to kind of like hover like that. And then we're going to select this. We're gonna, oh my god, faces, and then we're gonna bring it down a bit so it's like that. Cool. Okay, so same thing. If I hold shift, right click, go to mirror, it's gonna mirror it, and it's gonna remember my settings from last time, right? So there we go. So now we kind of have a little cool roughened shape here. I'm just gonna quickly save this. All right, so we kind of have a nice little shape here. So now it's all about adding in some more of the details, right? So let's just turn this off. So let's go in and start adding some of the details. And sorry, my eyes. Hold on, let me just get a drink here. Okay. So now let's let's start renaming this. So this is the SNES, let's say base, or main. Let's call this main. My God, my eyes. Main body, I need to get more sleep. We'll call this like switch rail or something. Switch rail. And then we'll call this the base. The base. There we go. Okay, so now we have that. I currently have symmetry on, so I have to be very careful with that when I'm working. What that does mean though, does this work? No, that doesn't work. Let's go here, object, world X. Now does that work? Yep. So it's just object didn't work. Object X. Oh, object. No, object does work. So world works. Okay. Turn that off for now, because it can be dangerous. Okay, so let's so now it's just like the little things now, right? So let's see here. So we have a few of these little shapes back here. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna most likely model, bake it. We'll see how that goes. I'm not convinced that I need to do that. But now is the time to start doing some cool modeling nidbits. Okay, so let's start doing some cool stuff here. So let's start doing this part. Okay, let's get that shape looking nice, because right now it's not looking very nice. It's looking bad, right? So let's get a reference up. So it kind of has like this nice little lip. Obviously it has this nice little curl on there. So we're going to put an edge, I'm gonna put an edge loop right in the middle. So control, so this is how I like to do it. You can do it multiple different ways. You can go, so I have the edge selected, hold control, right click, edge ring utilities, edge ring split. Okay, so that goes right down the middle, 50%. Okay, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna select the edge here. I'm gonna move it up just slightly, right? Because if you notice, right, it's looking black, right? Now what I can do is so there's different ways that we can approach this. So I can either use this tool here, which is crease plus, I believe. No, not crease plus. Where is it? Is it crease plus? I feel like I'm missing one of my plugins. Yes, I am missing one of my plugins. I'm missing my face weighted normals plugin. Oh, that's unfortunate. I really wanted to do the face weighted normals. Okay, so I wanted to test out that plugin. That was such a cool plugin. Okay, so sorry guys, I'm gonna show you how to install a plugin that I've been trying to use. Normals LT, easy circle, quick pipe, crease plus. Yeah, definitely missing this one. Okay, so hold on. So this is AMT normals. This is a tool that I've been using. I love this guy's tools. This guy's tools are amazing. Extract files. So if you just type in AMT tools or whatever in, what is it called, Gumroad, he has some awesome stuff. I've essentially just purchased everything that he had made because it's so good. Let's put the AMT folder inside your script directory, which is okay. So I'm just gonna take this folder, put it into my scripts folder, which is in Users, so let's go to, sorry for the delay, guys, but hey, you know what, this is a lesson on how to install plugins. So documents, no, sorry, let's go to my PC, C drive, is it C drive, users, ooh, users, my name, documents, Maya 2017 is what I'm using, scripts. So here we go. So yes, so it was missing this tool. Okay, and then now all I have to do, let me remove this. So now all I have to do is to make a shelf, but I have to run this using the following line in Mel. So I can go to my Mel script here. I'm just going to load up Mel script. I'm going to erase both. Oh, sorry, erase both. Go here. I'm gonna run it. Perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to just make this a shelf. I'm gonna call this face weighted normals. That's what it's called, face weighted normals. Save all that. Perfect. So let me show you what face weighted normals does. Face weighted normals, and if I select this, it's going to create like this nice little loop here. Well, okay. A lot of people are like, well, this is kind of just like bevels, but it's not, because if you look at the smoothness here, look how smooth that looks, right? Bevels doesn't do that. Let me show you what bevels does. So bevels, if I wanted to do a bevel on this, let's bevel this, right? And so that's what bevels does, right? It hardens all the edges, right? Unless you add more, unless you add more segments. To see how you see, if you add more segments, then it gets more round, right? Which means more polys though, right? Whereas this, all you have is 2 lines and it makes a beautiful edge, right? So that's why edge weighted normals is so much better. You can also vertex display, you can see how the vertex normals are being calculated. It's super technical, and I'm not a technical person. All I know is that this is a lot more efficient than doing a bunch of bevels. Okay, you can take my word for it, or not. It's all up to you. So yeah, so this is definitely a newer technique that people are using, and it's a technique that I haven't had too much time to experiment with, so I figured this might be a fun one to experiment it with. Cool. So I'm gonna add some more edges here, so I'm just gonna do the same thing. Control, edge it out. Right now this is creating some weird stuff, so I'm gonna have to obviously fix that in a sec here. Right, I'm just going to bring both of these up. So yeah, so I'm just gonna isolate this. I'm gonna multi-cut, and I'm just going to cut all the way around. Oh, let me do that. So if that's not going to work, then I'm just going to, hold on, I have a bunch of vertices selected, and now this is all messed up. So I'm just going to face weighted normals it again to kind of give me the look that I want. So yeah, okay. Okay. So this is looking weird, right? So I might have to fix that later. For now, I'm just going to multi-cut tool. I need to cut this. Shift. If I hold shift with the multi-cut tool, it's going to cut 50%. right? If you hold it and drag, you can decide how many percent is what. Again, some really useful tools that Maya has done a fantastic job at implementing in the past few years. So I'm just gonna shift click to hit the 50% mark. And then I'm just gonna drag, right click. There we go. There we go. So now we have this like beautiful looking thing. Okay, so let's quickly save. Let's check out the reference. So this is quite small, right? So, okay, so let's go back to the top view here. I'm gonna move this up to the top. Let's go up to top view. Let's go out of modeling mode. Let's go to channel, vision. Okay. So if I want to make this little hole here, because this thing does flip in and out, I am putting a cartridge in it. But let's model it as if that is going to be in there. Okay, so I'm going to take this spot, I'm going to split that, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to split that as well. Okay, and it's still not that accurate, right? It feels like this is probably where the cartridge is going to go, right? So what we're going to do here is we are going to go to modeling tools. We're going to go to symmetry, world, and let me see here. Was it display, polygons, texture borders? Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to go multi-cut. And I'm going to multi-cut right there. Now it made some weird polys. So give me 1 second. I noticed it made some weird polys somewhere. Okay, there we go. So it made some weird polys here. So I'm just gonna select these, bring it back to there. So things are getting kind of muckered. I'm just gonna face weight normals it again, kind of make it all nice and clean. So now let's go back here, and then let's go. I'll turn off symmetry for now, and then let's and then let's extrude. We're going to extrude down. I don't know how far down this is going. Let me look at the reference. So the cartridge kind of goes in about that height. I need a good reference photo of a cartridge inside the SNES. So let's do that. Let's go Chrome. Okay, so let's go Chrome here. So SNES with game inside. No. In console. Again, see, reference, huge. So something like this is a good reference right here, right? You can kind of see how far it's in. So I'm going to save this image here. See, I would never have thought that I needed that image, but it's really important to get these images in there. Right, so even this one's a pretty good image. Save that bad boy. Cool. I'm just gonna leave this Chrome up. You never know when you're gonna need it. Does this update? No. So I gotta go back. Reference. I'm gonna close my AMT tools. Again, the stuff that guy creates, awesome. You guys should really look into his work. Really good. So if I'm looking at this correctly, you don't even see that like you don't even see this in there, so it's going up pretty high actually. So for now, let's say something like that. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let me quickly go back to attribute mode, delete my history, delete transforms. Let's face weight normals. There we go. Okay, and then what we can do is we will create the lid. So what's this? So this is, oh, these are switches. SNES switches. Okay, turn this off. Going to make another cube, and this cube is going to be a hinge. If I remember properly, this was not very thick. I'm gonna turn on wireframe. Oh no, that's the wrong button. Wireframe mode. Just gonna go right to there, and then we're going to kind of just go something like that. I'm gonna scale this out. Right. Cool. Let's take a look at the reference here. So there's definitely like a gap or whatever. So where is that? Where is that? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just make a little quick. Just gonna have a little gap. A little gap. Come on, come on! Don't do this to me. There you go. And then I'm gonna F8 for object mode, delete history, delete transformations, face weight normals, and then I'm gonna middle mouse click to kind of make it a little bit more round. Middle mouse click, drag, make it a little more round. Bring this up a little bit. So now we have something like that. Cool, 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 cool. So let's just turn off wireframe mode. Let's just take a look at how it is right now. So that is currently where we're at. This is part 1 of modeling the Super NES. I'm going to SNES lid, I guess we'll call it. Oh, sorry, I had 2 underscores here. So yeah, so if you really like this video, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow, do all those things. And then that way I know that you guys are enjoying this. And then next week I will continue working on this using the plugin. Again, it's the I forgot what this one's called. AMT Normals LT is what he's calling it. Great tool, amazing tool, and I'll be using that workflow. All right, well, see you guys again next time. Peace out.